Before the consultant commenced the capacity building trainings, it was thought wise to begin with district and sub-county leaders and give them a progress report on project implementation status, but also launch the capacity development training phase. In this regard, 2 workshops were conducted in both irrigation schemes at district headquarters of Oyam and Pakwach, respectively. The workshops were attended by Pakwach and Oyam district local government, DLG, political and technical leaders, selected sub-county leaders from Achara, Minakulu, Ngai sub-counties, Wadelai, Lagem, Pakwachi Town Council, Alui, and Panyango. The workshops were also attended by the representatives from the Ministry of Water and Environment and scheme leaders.
Tomorrow we are going to meet all leaders, that is the cooperative executive, IO executive, block leaders and farmer field school, and we take them through some of these modules that we have come up with.
I want to thank Chris Butt. Thanks so much, plus the team from the Ministry of Water and Environment, for always updating us on certain issues. And I'm happy that today this meeting is being organized here. Ladies and gentlemen, Tochi irrigation scheme is not something which is new to us. From day one up to where we are right now. That scheme, it's a very good project that was initiated by the government, and we were honored among the 5 districts that were supposed to be given this important project.
After the launch of the capacity building activities, the consultant proceeded with capacity building activities. Chris Budd Consult started with good governance and leadership trainings, whose purpose was to equip scheme leaders with skills like good management, good leadership, good governance, decision-making, resolving institutional conflicts, effective communication, and reporting, among others.
So our definition is very simple. Management is the process of using organizational resources to achieve goals. Then that means we must have goals. Can you achieve what you don't have? At the later stage, we shall come and also teach you how to make goals. We need good management to provide services to the community in appropriate, efficient, equitable, and sustainable manner. As the head, you have control. Then another one, as he told us, coordinate. We need plan to work hand in hand with organizing. You cannot organize unless you have planned. They are more or less the same. Having understood what conflict is, I'm going to request them, each one of them, to write down 2 reasons what causes conflict.
Board members.
Rumors.
Poka.
Discrimination among members.
Teach.
Undermining other people.
Okay.
Mara no pay. Dog teach.
Lack of trust.
Lack of trust.
Doing other people's work.
Woro me jamme ke de watch come. Kadana pet you ge.
Laziness and greed.
Penyang gina memir no unity chala tala.
Failing to know your roles and responsibilities.
It will be fully into your hands, and the only closest person will be the district. So it's important that you understand the concepts in these trainings in order to help you run alone. And whatever is being discussed here is only preparing you. You talk of management, roles of managers. You talk of conflict. those conflicts will arise within the scheme. So you're being prepared to understand what causes them. We are talking of corruption. We are talking of lack of accountability. We are talking of poor communication between the leaders and members. Training prepares you to avoid those causes.
The consultant used training materials like markers, masking tapes, writing boards, flip charts, and customized irrigation management model charts, among others.
It does not belong to any one individual, it belongs to the whole system. We would be happy that your children should carry on and your grandchildren should carry on. After 100 years, it should be there. And that can only be possible if the leaders do their right and if the vision and the mission of your institutions are very clear and transparent. Because experience shows when you give farmers this knowledge, they will not make mistakes. So when you are handing over the thing, it will be as intact as it should be.
After the training manuals were customized or edited to suit the needs of the participants, and before the beginning of the next training session, the edited training manuals were delivered to the scheme leaders. Thereafter, the consultant proceeded to train leaders in procurement and disposal of public assets concepts. The purpose of this training was to understand how to approach procurement-related issues in the scheme management, to understand the bidding process, to learn how to dispose of the unwanted assets, and to manage contracts.
Procurement is acquisition of goods, supplies, and services. Now, I want to define procurement alongside disposal. Once you have acquired goods, services, or supplies, at the end, you have to give them away for selling them off. That is disposal in simple meaning. Disposing of means selling of goods and services away from an individual or an organization. Using approved means. Don't come and say, we have this chair and it's very old. Now, we are selling it to Bishop. In the process of procurement, there is what we call a PDU. A PDU is a procurement disposal unit. There is what we call a PDE. A PDE is a procurement and disposal entity. Is a body company. Okay? I don't know how you call it. Now, bringing it to your terms, Tochi irrigation scheme is an entity. Okay? This entity is the one that procures and disposes of. And this one is implemented through the board of directors, or you call them executives. Now, when you procure or you dispose, there is what we an agreement between the seller and the buyer. That agreement is called a contract. That contract is signed between the buyer and the seller, between the disposing entity of Tochi and the one who will be in the procurement and disposal. We have three items. We have goods, services, and supplies. In procuring goods, if you want to procure goods, you have to define them. Now, if you, for example, if you want to make a road, them by giving what we call scope of work. Services, you define them by giving terms of reference. And supplies, you define them by giving specifications. If, for example, you say, I want this chair, supply me a chair. Supply? You must say the chair must be armrest, blue in color. Those are the specifications, for example. The reason for these definitions is that you avoid vague supplies or vague procurement. Because if you say chairs, somebody can bring you broken chairs, and yet you are buying new things. In the process of procurement, there is what we call an evaluation committee. This evaluation committee is constituted by the chief executive officer or the manager of Tochi irrigation scheme. From the evaluation committee, recommendations are made to a procurement committee. The procurement committee approves the proposals to buy or proposals to sell at a given price.
After the procurement and disposal of public assets training, the consultant went on to train leaders in agribusiness and value chain management concepts. The aim of this training was to promote and sustain great agronomical activities in the scheme while maintaining value chain addition to meet the current agro-product market demands. The consultant went on to organize a financial management training for leaders in both irrigation schemes, that is, Tochi and Wadelai irrigation schemes, whose purpose was to develop simplified but sound accounting systems for their institutions, manage financial affairs of their institutions using good practices, and apply best principles of financial management to set up internal control systems in their institutions. The training covered areas of financial management, financial planning and controlling, preparation of budgets and interpretation of results, managing of accounts, bookkeeping and tracking financial
in other
transactions.
Any time, any stage, you can be able to do business plan. So you can do business planning for your enterprise at any point in time. In our planning, we should also have to design strategies that can help us capture or attract all those members who are not yet here.
Since you only failed, but all this was given by them. So this is about 70%. You give a little. That's not a lot of marks. 3 out of. But Chairman did not tell us this committee how you want to work around. Give us like 2 or 3, then we move. One number 1. So he's saying that. Oh, he's saying the pass will be a general meeting. Okay, great.
So this one you have called it purchase of. Okay, we can maybe call it. Okay, let's put simpler things like stationery and the like. Okay. Okay. What else? Okay, given this, I know we are now on the same line. Yes, Chairman, you have something?
The financial audit.
Financial audit. So we are calling it like audit fees?
Call it finance and accounts costs.
Finance and account costs.
Why do you call it financial and accounts costs? Because we have technical staff prepare for us.
Let's call it audit directly.
But we get an external auditor to come and check.
Audit fees. Okay. So, given that you are the people who have raised this, okay? Now, where do we get money to finance this? Unlike the cooperative, in our case, we are not like doing business as per se. So where do we get money to?
Settle this. I think
To
that's
settle this.
That's what we are selling to farmers. The water fee.
These
things rely on water.
On water, basically. So, as he was saying, we are going to determine our water user fee based on the expenditure projections. Otherwise, if farmers pay less money for water user fee, then you'll not be able to meet some of these. You see how it is really very tight.
The consultant did not only equip leaders with financial management skills, but also assisted scheme leaders of different institutions to develop business documents like business plan for cooperatives and strategic plan for IUA. Chris Bad Consult proceeded with the operation and maintenance of the scheme infrastructure training. The training looked at operation and maintenance of farm infrastructure, development of irrigation water schedule, determination of irrigation water user fees, and performance assessment, among others.
So today we want to look at operation and maintenance planning, or how to come up with plans for operating and maintaining the irrigation scheme. So water user fees is what is going to be the heart of this scheme. And therefore we want to look at how they can be determined and levied such that the members of the scheme pay it, because this is going to be the source of the money that you need to run the irrigation scheme. So when we look at operation and maintenance planning, it is basically the process that you go through. Set objectives. It is a process of identifying resources, and the resources are for implementation. And the implementation is for doing what? For achieving the objectives. So for proper understanding, let's understand the process. The process is that you set objectives. Okay? When you're planning, Guananyu, George, and comrades, when you're planning, the first thing you have to do is to set what you want. Once you've set your objectives, then now the objectives give you the means. They kind of inform the means that you need to achieve them. And that is the planning process. Then you identify the irrigation infrastructure. Why are we saying this? Because if you've identified that you're going to operate and maintain the dam, the main canals, that will inform the kind of resources you need. Okay? The irrigation infrastructure you're going to handle is only the turnouts and the field canals. That also informs the kind of resources you need, isn't it? So this helps us identify the scope. What we want to plan for.
The consultant went on to train scheme leaders in human resource management aspects, whose aim was to understand the different stages of human resource management, principles of recruitment, contracts, and types of job contracts, performance management and review, among others.
When we talk of resources, we mean like time. Finance. Finance is also a resource. And we can call it this, we can say money and machines make things possible. So we say whereas these ones make things possible, man makes things what? Things happen. Good. Huh? Now, this man is an important resource in an organization. The most important resource in an organization is human resource. That is the most valuable resource. Now, this resource, to get something out of it, we must manage this resource effectively and efficiently. Now, how do we manage? The human resource means what? Human being. Or we can call it people. Management, when we talk of management, we mean planning, directing, controlling, another one, implementing, monitoring, another one, evaluation. Because you always hear monitoring and evaluation. We have something like this. Have you ever heard it, about it? It's what? Coordinating. What about of this? Organizing. And also, we add budgeting. Okay? But usually this one comes under this. So it is sometimes not important. So when we talk about human resource management, we mean planning, directing human resource, planning for human resource, directing human resource, controlling, monitoring, coordinating, organizing the human resource in an organization so that we get something out of the human resource. Okay? When we are planning for human resource and want to direct, control, monitor, coordinate. All these come to what we call entry, stay, and exit. So when we talk of human resource, we are meaning those three things. Even if you are asleep, somebody wakes you up. What is human resource? Say entry, stay, and exit of human resource. At every stage, at entry, stay, and exit, we do these functions of management. Okay? This management, which we have defined as planning, directing, controlling, monitoring, coordinating, is done at entry, is done at stay, is done at exit. That is a summary of human resource management. Brian's indicators. And the definition is just simple. Performance management is good definition. Performance management is management of performance. Simple. Okay. In the morning we saw this animal called the management. I want to tone it down to understanding. We talked about what does management mean. There are some functions of management we talked about. Anybody who remembers one? Yes? Planning. Planning. Another one? At least four. The most important four.
Mobilization.
What?
Mobilization.
Mobilization. That is organizing. I just want like two. Then we stop there. Huh? Coordinating.
Accountability.
Accountability, budgeting. But for this purpose, there is one I need. Controlling. Good. Controlling. One more. Monitoring. We can now stop there. So, performance management is about planning, organizing, coordinating, controlling, and monitoring of our employees' performance. Okay? How are these people working? What are they doing? Performance management means, I can also say, an interaction between the supervisor and the employer. When I say supervisor, I mean the employee. Supervisor, the word supervisor may be difficult. But most people know this word. When you say my boss, that is your supervisor. Okay? But in human resource, we don't like this word. Okay? We don't use that word because it creates a gap between an employee and the one supervising your performance.
The consultant went on to train leaders in the areas of gender mainstreaming, social inclusion, gender-based violence, and HIV/AIDS management. The purpose of this training was to equip participants with knowledge about the key gender concepts and reasons as to why gender equality and social inclusion are important in irrigation scheme management.
So these are objectives, the concepts, the things we are talking about. Okay, what are some of the concepts we are talking about? We are talking about concepts like gender, concepts like sex, okay, concepts like gender equality, gender inclusion. So that is what we intend to understand. To start with, let's get an understanding of what exactly gender is. Okay? So gender, in my opinion, means this. We are calling it the socially and culturally shaped roles, attributes, and expectations assigned to women, men, girls, and boys. Now, the difference between gender and sex, I mean the sex of the person, okay? Sex, you are either male or female, right? And sex is biological and it is natural and you cannot change it. You are a man, you are a man. You are a woman, you are a woman. But gender, these are categories on how society look at them. They will say one is a man, okay? Actually means you are a male, that is in sex. You are a female, that's sex. But gender, you have a man, this is a man who is past the age of a youth, okay? You have a woman, that's gender. You have a PWD, okay? That one also is categorized in a certain gender. We are together. So they are simply categories of people. Because one time you are a youth, another time you are a man. So the gender can change. But most importantly, gender is looked from the perspective of the roles, okay? We are going to look at something called gender analytical tools. In our societies that we live in, there is something you believe that should be done by a man, and there is something that you believe that should be done by a woman. So we are saying culture is a set of learned beliefs, values, and behaviors, and the way of life shared by the members of a society at a particular time and place.
In a modern world, this is the trend that we are taking. Wanyang, I always tell people that a project like this one, at the end of it all, you will find that you're more brilliant than those who went to the university. And maybe they're working in big offices somewhere. Because now you are learning each and everything. Conflict resolutions, gender-based violence, marketing, everything. So at the end of it all, you will now be a role model. When it comes to this issue, go to Wadelai. We have learned something which is of great value. We are not together. People who are just living their families. So we are going to see causes of gender-based violence. Not giving somebody the rights to make decisions. Or someone is making decision, another one is ignoring. This disagreement in this disagreement in decision making. It's only me who should talk about it. I'm a man, much as you put a lot of effort, but listen to me. And if you are also empowered, like our sisters here, that is family disagreement. What is likely to cause a gender-based violence in our scheme is family disagreement. Who is supposed to do what where? Failure to define the roles and responsibilities of family members, that is disagreement between them. At the end of it all, it's you who is too lazy. That is why we did not get something from there. I'd rather get another woman to help me.
And you will end up getting a woman from there.
You end up getting a woman from the scheme.
Yes, because
are you telling me that there are some women there going for men?
Other women, they will be working hard than others. So you look the other one to be better than yours.
So you need to pray and cancel those kind of demons.
Who can read for you?
What should withstand committing testing? I fear to test because I have many partners. Testing helps you take charge.
Is that what you say? So you see, so we should stop saying that. Because we have very many partners, then you fear. The earliest you know your HIV status, the better. May I test even after 3 months?
If we cannot balance our power and strength, because most of the gender issues are coming as a result of imbalance in power. A man will say, I'm more powerful than everybody. So whatever I say is right. No wrong things I will say. And I'm the owner of the home. I'm in charge of everything. So we need to try and streamline the powers. We need to have power with, whereby we share responsibility. We share a lot in common as per the gender, as per the training. And I know HIV and AIDS is not a new thing in this world. Wherever you move, you'll get anything to do with HIV and AIDS is being communicated. But what we are now fighting against now is all about stigma. And even at the scheme, we need to look at fighting stigma, the social stigma. You know, the positive living persons would feel like they will be discriminated if we don't fight the stigma. We need to incorporate them in whatever we are doing. And if we do that, we shall make them feel really that we are working together. I know you talked about the symptom, you talk about how to go about with it, but for me, I'm looking at the stigma as the key issue, making HIV continue to spread, because this social stigma that we have had made these positive persons think that really we need also to die with others, we need also to kill, because they are not really minding about us. They don't think we are really worth being with them. So if they are not worth being with us, let us make sure they also become part of us in terms of infecting them. But if we fight that stigma, they'll feel part of us and they'll work towards seeing that we don't get into what they are in. And we work together and achieve together.
The development of different ICT platforms started with situational analysis within the project areas, whose purpose was to understand the farmers' perceptions towards ICT in agriculture. Among the situational analysis, the ICT expert was able to find out the type networks used by majority farmers, social networking applications commonly used, preferred source of information and language of communication, commonly used cell phone network, and preferred mobile money payment system, among others. The ICT expert went on to develop an information management system based on the key findings from the situational analysis study. FIFOC 2 Project Management Information System has 5 major modules. That is, Farmer Registration Module, Knowledge Transfer Module, Collection of Farmer Production Data Module, Farmer Aggregation Module, and Payment Services and Other Financial Services Module. After the development, the ICT expert proceeded to train selected scheme leaders in the developed ICT platforms. The consultant conducted other activities other than capacity building trainings. These include, but are not limited to, the following: deployment of an irrigation expert from Doho Irrigation Scheme to guide farmers as they adopt irrigated agriculture. His guidance included, but not limited to, the following: cleaning and maintaining of canals, land leveling, and making field channel canals. Exchange exposure visit for scheme leaders to Doho Irrigation Scheme. Developed a drama script, translated it into local languages, and conducted drama performances in different areas of capacity building trainings.